All right, and we are live. Hello, good evening, everybody. Sorry, a little bit late. We had some technical problems, but we are here tonight, and we're here live to talk about tonight's topic, our fast track to online freelancing part two, which is how to get a client even without experience. So, who among you want to get a client? Raise your hand, or say me. If you want to get a client. Do you want to get a paying client even without experience? Is that something that you want to do? And if it is, um, say hi, say me, say or raise your hand. Let me know in the comments. Hello, good evening, everybody. Good evening once again. I'm seeing a lot of people were waiting earlier. We had some technical problems, but everything seems okay now. Jonathan, hello. Editha, hello. Michelle, Anna, Jenilyn, Mika, Erica, Catherine, good evening. Anuj, good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. And yeah, we have this topic that we're going to talk about how to get a client even without experience. Okay, even without experience. Last week, no, last week we had our fast track to online freelancing part one. This week it's part two, and next week is the last part. It's going to be part three. Okay, so it's a three-part series, and yes, you do have certificates. We have some giveaways once again. Just reminding everybody of our giveaways for this session. Let me just adjust my windows over here. Okay, our giveaways for this session. So we have our freelancing toolkit, which you will receive absolutely for free. And we are going to send this to you together with not only this, but you'll also get your certificate of attendance, and certificate of completion of the fast track to online freelancing series. So you can save this, you can include it in a portfolio or anything like that as well. So first things first, I want you guys to share this webinar. Hit the share button, share it with your family, share it with your friends, especially nowadays. With the uncertainty that's going on, especially with local jobs, we want to try to find other sources of possible income, and this is one of them, right? Online freelancing, working from home, doing things like virtual assistant work. This is one avenue where we can earn, aside from a lot of people don't have office work right now, so this is a possible venue for them, right? And it's something that's available, right? So hit that share button. We want you to share this and let me know that you shared it in the comments so that we know that you shared this. And yes, you need to share this, Omar. Thank you for asking. Good evening, Mary. Good evening, Marites. Cheche. Good evening, Jay, okay. We have a lot of people here. AT, good evening once again. Omar, Mai, hello, hello. Nice. Oh, let me move my mouse here. Okay, just adjusting my. Okay, thank you for sharing it. There we go. There we go. We have people sharing this webinar tonight. Okay, so um, before we really dive into things, just a little bit a recap of our coverage for this webinar. So it's a 3-week webinar. And we're covering a number of things. Okay, so last week we had our first session. We talked about discovering the skills that you can offer, what kind of skills you can offer as a virtual assistant, as a freelancer. This week we're talking about how you can get your first client, even if you don't have any experience. Even if you don't have an experience, how you can get your first client. And next week we're going to talk about how you can handle client interviews. Okay, how you handle client interviews. Now, if you weren't here last week, we talked about these things last week. First of all, what is a niche? What skills can I offer to clients? How much should I charge clients? What if I'm not a techie? And how do I build a portfolio if I have no experience? So these are a number of questions that we answered in the last session. If you didn't attend that, we do have a replay still up. We'll keep it up until next week. We do have a replay still up for last week's session. Okay. So if you didn't attend that, check out the replay, and then we're answering these questions in that session. Now, in this week's session, we're gonna be covering some other questions. This week, we're talking about where you can find online jobs. We're going to answer, is it really getting competitive online? We're going to answer that question. We're going to talk about how you can create a profile that stands out, how you can write a cover letter, or something like an application letter, regular jobs, and common mistakes when you're writing a cover letter. So a lot of great things we're talking about this week, and then next week we're talking about all of these: handling client interviews, how you can prepare for client interviews, power words and scripts to appear confident, how you can receive payments from online clients, common scams, and how to avoid them, and what's next. What's next for you after you attend these sessions. Okay, so yes, we have to give away the freelancing toolkit and the certificate at the end of this. At the end of this, I'm going to give you more instructions. There will be a link, an attendance sheet that you have to fill out for you to be able to claim your freebies. Okay, so once again, we're talking about this tonight, and I want to ask you: are you ready? Are you ready to talk about this? And are you ready to get your first client? Okay, let me know in the comments section. Hello, Rosie, Gianna, Editha, Jem, Mary Jane, shared. Thank you guys for sharing it. Meryl, Win. Oh, nice. Thank you guys for sharing this. This web. We have a lot of people who've already shared it. Great. Uh, Arlene, hello. Let me see. Oh, looks like nobody has any questions yet. If you do have any questions that come up, type them in the comments. I'll try to get to them. We do have an hour for this session, so I'll try to get them um, as we go through this session. Okay. Now, here we are to this topic, and the first question, the first topic on our agenda is: where do you get online freelancing jobs? Right? Where do you get online freelancing jobs? Now, when it comes to getting jobs, to finding work, there are two main areas that you can get these online freelancing jobs. The first of them is freelance platforms, and then the second is direct clients. Okay, freelance platforms and direct clients. I'll talk about these one by one. All right, so let's start off with freelance platforms. So freelance platforms, they're where clients or companies post jobs. They're where these clients, these companies post jobs where they're looking to hire freelancers, to hire people like you. That's where these clients go. Next, freelance platforms, they're also where freelancers post their profiles looking for jobs. So the both sides of the equation here. The clients or companies, they post jobs looking for freelancers, and freelancers post their profiles because they're looking for jobs. So if we're going to illustrate this, I made a really nice masterpiece drawing for you guys here. Spent hours on this, so this is my masterpiece that I made for you. The client is over here. He says, I need something done, right? So we have the clients who post their jobs, and we have the freelancers who post their profiles who say that I need work. Okay, so we have both sides. Like I said, both sides, they go to a freelancing platform. And what the freelancing platform is, it's basically a bridge between these two parties, the client and the freelancer, the client and you. So you're looking for a job, you don't know where to go. The clients are looking to hire people, they don't know where to hire people. So the platform serves as a bridge between these two parties. So they connect the two parties. Now, there are a lot of different features of online platforms, but here are some common features that platforms give. So first of all, online platforms, what they do, like the bridge we talked about, right? They help clients and freelancers find one another. Parang Match.com or like Tinder lang, di ba? They help clients and freelancers find one another. They also provide tools to help with things like the jobs, to help with things like tracking time, tracking where you're spending your time, making sure that you're actually working, you're not just on Facebook scrolling coronavirus news. Um, and they provide tools to help with contracts. Okay, that's something that, when we first start off in this world, we don't know about contracts. So the platforms help us with regards to contracts. These freelancing platforms, a number of them offer payment protection as well. Like Upwork and FreeUp, they offer payment protection. And what payment protection means is that you kind of have a guarantee to get paid. Of course, there are some details there, but you kind of have a guarantee to get paid. You just have to read through how you can get the payment protection. Okay. Now, providing all these features to the clients, to the freelancers, these freelancing platforms usually charge a fee. And the fee is paid by the client or freelancer. In some cases, both parties pay the fee, both the client and the freelancer pay the fee. But there's usually a fee that's charged, okay? Because they don't provide all these services for free. They have to earn money as well, so they charge a fee for that. Now, what are these freelance platforms? So we have some examples of freelance platforms over here. Okay, I have some of the top freelance platforms. We have Upwork.com, we have Hubstaff Talent, OnlineJobs.ph, FreeUp. We also have Freelancer.com, Guru.com, and a lot more. But these are kind of the ones that we recommend for you, especially if you're starting out. Probably Upwork and Online Jobs are the ones we usually recommend for those people who are just starting out. Okay. Let me just let me check the comments here. Ready, yes. A lot of people are ready to get their clients and talk about this too. Nice, nice. We had a lot of people who are ready. Amazing. Got one client via Upwork without experience. Wow, congratulations, Jennifer. It's been a while. Okay, it's been a while. So it's been a while since you got a client. I want to learn how to develop or upgrade or develop a profile that attracts clients. Okay, nice, nice. So we'll kind of cover that as well, Jennifer. That's a great concern to have. We want to get more clients, not just one client, but we want to get more clients and clients that pay us more money, right? Okay. Is my stream doing okay? Just double checking here. It seems to be doing okay. All right. So um, I'm going to go over kind of a flow chart or a process of how this whole client and freelancer thing goes in when it comes to the online platforms. Okay, so what happens first is that a client creates a profile, right? So they create a profile, they put in their company information, kind of like their background, what they do. Then a freelancer also creates a profile. So the freelancer, they also put, okay, this is about me, this is where I'm from, these are my skills, this is what I can offer, this is my experience, and so on. So both the client and the freelancer create a profile. Next up, the client would create a job. Okay, the client creates a job. So they say, okay, I'm looking for somebody who can do so and so. I'm looking for somebody who can copy data from, let's say, a PDF or a PDF data and put it into Microsoft Excel. Okay, so they post that job. Okay, so what the freelancer does is a freelancer finds jobs. They look for these jobs, and there are lots of jobs posted online. So the freelancer finds jobs, they do a search, and they find a job that they want to apply to. Right? So they apply to this job. Right? They write what we call a cover letter. A cover letter. It's like an application letter, a cover letter to apply to that job. What the client does next is he reviews the applicant's profiles and cover letters. He sees, okay, what are these? What does the profile say? What does the cover letter say? And based on that, they can already, sometimes clients hire based on that. Sometimes they want to do further interviews. Okay, they want to do further interviews, whether it's a chat interview, a video interview, or like a voice interview, different forms. And then the last step here is a client hires their applicant or the people they want to hire, right? So this is kind of a simplified process, but it kind of gives you an idea of how it goes, right? So there's the profiles, there's creating a job, finding a job, there's applying, there's reviewing of the cover letters, there's the interview process, and so on. Rhea is asking this question here, need po ba may account sa lahat ng platform? You don't need, I'd say no. You don't need to have an account in all the platforms. In fact, there are too many platforms out there right now. There are hundreds of platforms right now. So what I would do is I would focus on a few platforms now. Not not all the platforms, just focus on a few. We have some students who got hired on Upwork, some on online jobs, some on Hubstaff, some found jobs on LinkedIn. So just find what works for you, and then you can focus on one, two, maximum three platforms. That's what I would recommend. Okay. Um, Next, what app do you usually do your profile? I'd recommend for newbies. What we usually Let me just change the slide here. Up, Go back here. Upwork and online jobs are really some of the platforms we recommend where you can start a profile. Okay, those are good places to start. But once again, find out what works for you. Some people, they don't get hired in Upwork. They don't get their profile approved even. They don't get hired in online jobs. They find jobs in different platforms. Okay, so find out what works for you. Okay, so moving on over here. All right. Or other questions? Oh, you're welcome, Rhea. Okay, so now we were talking about online platforms, right? We were talking about online platforms. We've also got freelancing through direct clients. Okay, freelancing through direct clients. And when you go directly to a client, go directly to the company that's looking to hire. Okay, you go working directly for a client or company without going through a third party. Okay, without going through a third party. So there are no special features. Earlier we talked about the features of online platforms. They give you so and so, A, B, and C, so and so. But here, when you work directly with a client, there are no special features. You don't pay fees because there's nobody providing a service of payment protection, doing the matchmaking and things like that. So you don't pay any fees for that. It's usually riskier because you're approaching clients directly, and usually you get paid more since you have little or no competition. Okay, so it's riskier, and usually you get paid more because you usually have little to no competition, right? Okay. Oh, let me see here. Oh, something went wrong with my slides. Give me one moment here. Yeah, and if you have any questions, please ask them in the comments, and I'd be glad to answer your questions here. Give me one moment, guys. Sorry about that. We're okay. Let me just put this there. All right, yeah. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask those questions. All right. Okay, I think we have this back up and running. Okay. Okay, there we go. Oh, we have to start from the beginning. Fast forward here. Okay, we talked about that. We talked about, there we go. So here's where we were in the presentation, right? Now, that's the difference there. There is that difference. Yeah, sorry, yeah, the video might be buffering. There are a lot of people online right now, so the internet might be a bit slow. Ang freelancer.com po, maganda na platform. It's not what I it's not one of my favorites. I prefer going through Upwork or onlinejobs.ph, but you can still go through freelancer.com. So Upwork, they have a 20% fee. Yeah, they have that fee. They provide the service, pero they do charge a fee. Yes, we have recordings. Just check the videos tab. You can see the recordings. Okay. So I hope the video is okay. I'm seeing myself kind of frozen, but I hope it's okay here. Now, if you guys are still with me, when we work with direct clients, like I was saying earlier, you work directly for a client or company without going through a third party. You don't have any special features. There are no fees, and it's riskier, right? It's riskier. It's just when we're comparing um, going with direct clients versus going through freelancer platforms, it's like if you're trying to go on a date. If you're trying to go on a date, may signal problem. Nako, there's some. Yeah, it's okay on my. I'm seeing your guys' comments, but I'm seeing that's buffering for a lot of people. Is it okay for some people? I just want to know, is it okay for some people, or is everybody having problems? Okay, just let me know. So talking about freelancing platforms and going with direct clients. But those are the two ways where you can get and find online jobs, right? Find online freelancing jobs. If we're thinking about it in terms of something we're more familiar with, like going on a date, diba? Um, now, if you they're going with direct clients is kind of like asking it's kind of like asking directly somebody on a date. If you're a guy, you go directly, you see some girl in a bar or in a coffee shop or in a cafe and ask them on a date. Yeah. Versus using a platform. So there are platforms like nowadays, there's things like Tinder.com, Match.com, where you can just create a profile and then try to find a match over there. So that's kind of the difference when we're talking about um, going directly going directly to clients or going through a platform. Going directly to client, it's riskier, it's scarier, right? But you're going directly to the client versus going through a platform. Usually you have to pay an additional fee. Yes, but okay. It's good for it's working well for some people. Okay, great. So it might be your guys' internet connection, not mine. Okay, thankfully. So if you're going through a platform, usually you pay fees, but they provide a service, a matchmaking service. Okay, so questions. What questions do you guys have? I believe I answered questions from a number of people earlier, so I don't think we have any pending questions. Medyo mabagal lang dahil yeah, there are a lot of people, a lot of people nowadays using the internet. So for a number of people, it is buffering. Everything seamless on my end. Okay, great to hear. Great to hear. Okay, so it's not my connection. I was a bit worried there. All right. Now, if I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, since you guys already answered your questions, I want to ask you guys a question. If you're, and most of you here are beginners watching this. This is more for a beginner webinar. Since you're watching this, based on what we talked about earlier, what would you want to be? Or what would you want to which one would you want to go through? Which process? Would you go through a platform or would you go directly to a company? What would you prefer as a new freelancer? For those who are buffering, please refresh. Okay, so which path would you like to take? Um, Going directly to the client or going through platforms. All right. Yeah, a lot of people are buffering here. You can watch the replay if there's yikes, a lot of people. Platform. Since a newbie, we will still need to be secured. Okay. What about other guys? Would you go direct or would you go through a platform? Answering Joanne's question: are all VA jobs graveyard shift? No, not all jobs are graveyard shift. There are some that require that you to work together with the client's time. Okay. Some they want when they're awake, they need you to do something. They'll just send you a message, and that requires you to be awake at the same time, right? So kind of that would be night shift. So let's say from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, right? Nine o'clock at night to 6 in the morning. Um, Others, they don't require you. They require a little bit of an overlap. Okay, so I've worked with clients where they just want to have a little bit of an overlap. They're okay with you working whatever time you want, as long as you kind of have a meeting every day. So for them in the morning and for you in the evening. So maybe it's 9 o'clock at night. You have a 1 hour meeting with a client, and then it's up to you when you are going to get the job done. So it really depends. And others, they just give you the work, and you can do it on your own time, as long as it's usually delivered within like 24 hours, something like that. All right, a lot of people say platform with a platform, go with platforms as a newbie, platform to be more secured as a beginner. Atet Pajar, how and where do you find direct clients? How, that's a little bit complicated. where you can find people wherever you can find people. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them in Facebook groups. You can find them on LinkedIn. You can find them on Instagram. There, wherever you can find people, wherever you can find companies and information. What the basics are, you just reach out to them directly. Okay, there's a whole process behind that, but I wouldn't recommend it for beginners. Okay, platform is newbie. Um, nice, Joshua, working directly with clients. Good job. Yeah, I started out with a. I started out going through a platform. Do platforms have many part-time job openings? Yes, there are lots of part-time openings. There are lots of what I'd say project-based openings. Okay, so what happens there is a client just wants one thing done. They just want a document created. Okay, so that's kind of like part-time, one-time projects. Both, great to know. Platform safer. Wala na to. You can watch the replay for those that are having problems, whichever comes first. Safer payment through platform. Good evening. Yeah. For those having issues, you can watch the replay. I'm just going to type that here. Okay, yeah, because a lot of people right now on the internet. Um, all right, okay, so yeah, I'd recommend usually to start off with a platform. Some people are able to go directly with the client, but in most cases, I recommend going with a platform. Okay, so thank you for answering my question as well, everybody here. And if you're watching the replay, I also like to get your answer to that question. Which one do you want to start from as a beginner, either platform or direct? Okay. So we've talked about the differences there. You've stated which one you would choose to go with, and I've mentioned my recommendation, which is you to go to, if you're a beginner, go with platforms. Some people can manage going direct immediately, but for beginners, I usually recommend to go through platforms. All right. Now our next question, the next question that we're answering tonight is this right here. Is it really getting competitive online? But we get this concern a lot from people now. There are so many people freelancing right now. Now the competition's so tough. As the competition's so tough, and I might not get hired. I might not be able to get a job because there's so much competition out there. Okay, so let's take a look at some numbers here. Okay, I'm going to show you some numbers. I'm not sure if you can see this, especially if you're watching. Yeah, especially if it's buffering for people and with video quality. But this is a graph of the total retail sales online. It is online sales. Okay, um, there's an estimate. There's an estimate that it's growing. It's been growing the past few years, every single year, the online e-commerce industry, and it's an estimate that it's going to grow by at least 4% every year. So there is continuous growth. Yes, there are more and more people. There are more and more people who are, finding about working online, finding about working from home, working as a freelancer. But we can see this graph here that online e-commerce sales will continue to grow year after year. Okay. And as oh, next slide. As the demand grows, as the demand for jobs grows, so does the supply, right? So does the supply. So a lot of more people are going online, but that just means that there are a lot more companies are looking to hire people. More and more people are starting their own businesses. Even here in the Philippines, more and more people are starting their online businesses, and they're hiring freelancers. They're hiring people who can just stay at home and do things like respond to chat messages or create websites and so on. So they are hiring. The hiring is continuously growing. It's growing, I'd say, at a very healthy rate. Yes, there are more people looking for jobs, but there are more jobs being posted online. So online businesses, they keep growing. And online freelancing keeps growing as well. So, and yes, it is competitive, right? It is competitive. You're not the only one applying to a single job. A lot of times you might be applying with 20 other people. So, what you have to do as a freelancer, and especially as a new freelancer, is you have to stand out from the others. Okay, it's very important that you have to stand out from the others, right? Okay, so going over some questions here, we have a question break. Video freezes every now and then. I think for some people it's okay. Video is pitch black. For some people I hope it's okay. Otherwise the recording will also be bad. So I hope this is fine. Inantay, hindi ako makapanood. It's okay. Mga replay na lang. For a lot of people, they're just gonna watch the replay. Okay, doesn't look like we have any questions here. Let me just check my streaming. Looks like, yeah, my signal is okay. So I think it's the internet connections of everybody. All right, so like I was saying, for you have to stand out from the others, right? You have to stand out from the others. In fact, I did a search earlier. I did a search earlier, and I wasn't able to change the slides here. I did a search earlier. Let me see if I can show this to you. I did a search earlier for virtual assistants over on Upwork. So I use Upwork as a platform, and I did a search earlier. Let me just show you this screen here. I have it on another screen, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this, but I do want to show you this image here. Right, wala. Okay, it's not working. Anyway, going back here. Okay, going back. So I did a search earlier on Upwork.com, and let's see if I can actually open it. There we go. So let me show you this window here. Let me share this window. Okay. Okay, so this is Upwork.com. I have a client profile over there. And let me just expand this. And if I do a search here for virtual assistants, okay. So there's a search right there, and then it's loaded virtual assistants, and have page after page. One page here, this is page 2, then page number 3, page number 4, page number 5, and so on. Right? So you get the idea here. There is competition online. Like I said, there's a lot of jobs, but you still have to be able to stand out. You still have to be able to stand out. Oops. Oh, I'm not sure if you even saw that here. Wait. Sorry about the technical issues we're experiencing today. We have, there we go. Okay, so yeah, I did a search for virtual assistants. We have page, I'm already on page 5. And then, there's page 6. There's so many people here. I'm on page 7, page 8, and so on. So yeah, you get the idea there. There are so many. If I'm a company looking for a freelancer and I go do a simple search, it's hard for me to say, okay, I want to hire this person, because there's a lot to choose from. Right, that's why clients usually they post jobs and people apply to them. But it's still the same thing. There is that competition. And from the number of people I showed you earlier, you have to stand out. You have to stand out. Okay. And going over the comments over here, do you still see higher demand for freelancers VA even at this time in crisis? And I saw a related question. Ngayon pong may crisis, hindi po ba nagpe-freeze ang mga company ngayon? I'd say it's slower. It's slower than usual, yung hiring. But there are still companies who are looking to hire people. A lot of the local businesses, yung mga local businesses who have stores, A lot of them are shut down, right? But a lot of the online businesses are still functioning. They're still, right, especially for those service providers. Yung mga product-based who have product shipped from China, they're having some issues. But those who are shipping locally and those who are providing services, they're still operating. They're still operating and they're still doing their best to operate. So there are still jobs posted. There are still some jobs posted that I see, but not as much as I'd say before. So there is that slowdown. Jennifer, what's the safest rate per hour for a newbie? Like the safest is the lowest, diba? That's always the safest. But I don't recommend. Like, the lowest you can go is $3 an hour. But for the for the graduates of the VA Bootcamp, which is our paid course, we recommend at least starting at $5 because they already have training, they already have that experience. Okay. Should we add our client to our personal FB after some projects, or better limit the relationship? Good question, Carla. It's up to you. It's up to you how your relationship with the client is. I am on Facebook with some of companies I've worked with. Some I'm not. So it depends on the relationship between you two. If you're also had a friendly relationship, and if you'd be comfortable with it, then why not? Diba? If you'd be comfortable with it, why not? But if it's more of a very professional relationship that you have with your client, tapos you're not comfortable with them seeing your Facebook posts, then don't add them on Facebook. Whatever you're comfortable with. Paano mag-stand out? Actually, that's what we're talking about right now. How you're gonna stand out. Let me just skip these slides here. I took this part out, but okay. So how do you stand out? Diba? When you enrolled in VA Bootcamp, starting rate and recommending, sir, yep, we recommend $5 to start out, because you've already gone through training, diba? You've already gone through training and you've gone through kind of some experience. Pag FB management client requires you to add them. Oh, yeah, in specific, well, when it's Facebook, diba? If you manage a Facebook page, you kind of have to add them so that they can add you to the page. You remember how you made your break as an online freelancer? Yes, I do, but that's not really the topic for tonight. I've talked about it in other videos. Always depends on your skills. Yes, that's right. It always depends on your skills. Okay, so moving on with our topic for tonight. How do you stand out? How do you stand out as a freelancer? We talked about this process earlier, right? Client creates a profile, freelancer creates a profile, client creates a job. The freelancer finds jobs, applies for the job. The client's going to review the applicants' profiles and cover letters. The client does interviews, and they hire the applicants, right? So we talked about this process earlier already, right? So in this process over here, there are a number of opportunities for you to stand out. Okay, there are a number of opportunities for you to stand out. Okay, first of all is in the cover letters and the proposal. So when you're writing that cover letter, that kind of application letter, that's one opportunity for you to stand out. Another opportunity is in your profile. Remember, the client reviews not just the cover letter, not just like the application letter. Yes, that's very important, but also of importance is your profile, because if they're interested in you, once they read first of all, they read the cover letter, okay, and then they say, oh, this is a nice cover letter. A lot of the times what they'll do is they'll check your profile, they'll check your history, they'll check what skills you offer. So the profile is another opportunity for you to stand out. During the interview, that's another opportunity for you to stand out. And when you're doing the actual job for the client. So there are lots of opportunities for you to stand out. Now, we won't go over every single one of these. Okay, we don't have the time for that. In fact, we talked about this in the VA Bootcamp. We spent hours just on this topic alone. We spent a number of hours on this, but we'll go over a few things here. Now, last week we kind of talked about your portfolio, right? For those of you those of you that were here last week, we talked about a portfolio. So a portfolio is one way to stand out. Having a portfolio, that's part of your profile, okay? And if you didn't watch the webinar last week, go back, go to the video section, and you'll see it there. And we talk about how you can create a portfolio even if you don't have experience, okay? And that gets added to your profile. Now, other areas you can stand out, okay? So we talked about we're in the profile. In the profile that you have, so this is an image of a Upwork profile of one of our students in the VA Bootcamp. And This is a business writer dash programmer, and he charges $50 per hour. Okay, $50 per hour. He's earned over $20,000, which is equivalent to over 1 million pesos. Okay, so he's worked a lot and he's earned a lot of money on Upwork. Okay, and you can see his profile here. I won't go over everything here, but he has a profile. He has some portfolio items over there. So the profiles, what's some ways that you can stand out in the profile are having a good picture. Okay, the picture actually matters because whether we like it or not, appearances matter. So the skills matter, but yes, appearances still matter because even if you're really skilled, but they look at your picture and they feel that they can't trust you, it doesn't look very professional, then they might not hire you because they got turned off by the picture, right? Next is good writing. Good writing is something that you should have in your profile. If it's full of grammatical and spelling mistakes in your profile, then that's another turnoff. Okay, so you have good writing. You should have the skills that clients need. Okay, skills that you have, but the skills that clients need, and the kind of target clients you're targeting, that will determine what skills you're going to list in your profile, and have proof that you can actually do the work. Okay, have proof. So you have a portfolio, which is your sample work. Maybe you have some previous jobs that you've worked, which are similar to the jobs you're applying to right now. Okay. Got my first profile Upwork was $7 per hour. Nice, Jennifer. And the client gave a fixed rate, not hourly. Actually, chamba lang po yun. But yeah, good job over there. Joseph, is there any fees if we take advantage on your trainings? We do have a paid training. Joseph, okay, let me just check which, I'm going to talk more about that later, okay, but you can check. I'm just going to give you a link over here. Okay. Nope. I lost my place in the comments. Oh, there we go. How do you stand out when you're a newbie and you don't have any items to put in your portfolio? We talked about that last week, Christine. So go back to last week's session, and we talked about how you can create a portfolio even without experience. Okay, so check last week's session for more info about that. Okay, if you can't view the video, check the replay because it should be there in the replay, hopefully. Okay, now we're going to talk about how you can write a cover letter, and hopefully a cover letter that is not just a cover letter, but a cover letter that stands out. Okay, a cover letter that is going to grab the attention of your prospective client. Okay, so just to give you an idea, if you've never been in Upwork before, I'm going to show you the process of step by step how you write a cover letter. So you create an Upwork account, you create your profile. We won't go over that, but once you're in Upwork, you go to the Find Work tab. This is by default, and then what you do is you do a search. You type in what you're looking for. Okay, you're looking for writing jobs, for transcribing jobs, for virtual assistant jobs. You type that in the search for jobs section, and you click on the green magnifying glass. It's a magnifying glass for search. And then you're going to find a number of jobs that pop up. Okay, in this search we had 1,800 jobs found. Okay, so there's a downvote button, a thumbs down button if you don't like the job and don't want to see it in your feed, and there's a heart button if you want to favorite the job and then you're going to apply to it later. In the upper right, you might not be able to read it, but it says save this search to your job feed, so you can create. Okay, I think I've reconnected. We had a short disconnect there, but yeah, we are reconnected. Okay, as I was saying, you can save a search to your job feed. Okay, you can save a search to your job feed. Click on the button in the upper right, and that automatically saves a search so you can pull it up in the future. On the left, we have some filtering criteria. We have categories. You can filter by category, by job type, by experience level, history, project lengths, and so on. Okay, so there are different ways to filter out. Okay, so let's say that we apply to this job, and this job is assistant to the director. Here we're an English online language school that teaches adults over 40 countries worldwide. It's an hourly job looking for intermediate level, and it's a personal/virtual assistant job, and reading the description over here, the school has struggled to grow its enrollment. So these are the kind of details that you see on jobs. This is a real job that you're looking at right now. And these are the kind of details that you'll see. Your primary role will be to help the director locate and reach out to a wide range of partners, including companies, co-working spaces, alumni associations, relocation centers, YouTubers, and bloggers. You may also be called upon to help organize our e-learning library, post the social media accounts, assist in hiring, and help new staff become familiar with the roles and our school culture. Okay, so that's that's the job listing right there. And on the right side, right next to the job listing, you'll see a button to submit a proposal. Okay, so you will submit a proposal. Like it's kind of like an application letter. It'll ask you to set your hourly rate. How much are you going to be asking to be paid? Okay, so I have here $5, like I said earlier, and then there is a 20% Upwork fee. So they take $1, and you're left with $4. Okay, so you charge $5, Upwork takes $1, you're left with $4 because of their 20% fee. Okay, and here's an example of a cover letter. There are lots of strategies for writing cover letters. We talk about a number of them in the bootcamp, but here's an example. Okay, as an office administrator with 5 years experience, I am highly proficient in internet research, social media management, lead generation, and so on. I learn things quickly and enjoy exploring online strategies that help my clients reach their goals, especially through social media. I can also connect people through writing engaging posts. I'd love to learn a little bit more about your business. Looking forward to hearing from you, and you put your name at the bottom. Okay, so that's just an example right here. And there are, once again, lots of different strategies. Lots of different strategies. Chat interview also should be in correct spelling and grammar. Yes. Client gave me a high five for that. Social media is your foremost experience. You have SB account. Yep. These are some good tips that Jennifer is giving. Thank you. Thank you. Jenlyn, I use Grammarly for my English to improve. Yep, that's a great tool. You can use Grammarly to help you with your grammar. All right. Now let's talk about. We're almost out of time here, but let's talk about some common mistakes when you're writing cover letters. One common mistake is reusing the same cover letters over and over. It's just like a guy when he's trying to find a girl. A lot of guys they're texting multiple girls at the same time. But if it's a copy pasted message like to Anna, good morning love, nag-breakfast ka na. To Krissa, good morning love, nag-breakfast ka na. Mel, good morning love, nag-breakfast ka na. To Honey, send the same message over and over again. For in this example, it's a bit funny, but when we're applying to jobs, it becomes obvious when you're resending the same messages over and over again. When you're not changing, it's too generic. Okay, clients can tell when you're using the same message multiple times, so you want to personalize it for them. The second most common mistake when writing cover letters is being too formal. Being overly formal. Don't worry, Pauline, there is going to be a replay. Being overly formal. So, sir, ma'am, sir, I would be delighted to help you, sir, ma'am, sir, something like that. It's being too formal because when we're talking about the Western culture, we're working with Western clients. It's very relaxed and laid back. It's not as formal as we are in the job culture. Third most common mistake is sharing your life story. And it's funny, but we actually see this. Sometimes I post jobs and we see people kind of sharing their life story. So in this example, we have, hi, my name is Martha. I graduated from a degree in BS Mathematics from the University of Cebu. Please hire me, sir. I am pregnant and my boyfriend left me. I really need the money. Last month, my mother got sick and I had to buy her medicines and so on. And it sounds strange for us reading this, but we see similar scenarios to this. Some people they share their life story, okay, and the client, they don't need to know that. Maybe if you become friends and so on, that's fine. But when you're applying for a job, that's not how you want to start. Okay, so please avoid these common mistakes when you're writing cover letters. Okay, reusing the same cover letters over and over, being overly formal, and sharing your life story. Okay, focus on the job, focus on what you can do for the client. Okay, questions over here. We don't have any pending questions. I use the IDA rope format when writing a cover letter. Nice. And those formats are things we teach in the VA Bootcamp. Okay, those are short for some formats we teach in the VA Bootcamp. IDA and rope. All right. So we talked about a lot of things today. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. We're closing this up. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about where you can find online jobs. We talked about if it's really getting competitive online, how you create a profile that stands out, how you write a cover letter, and the common mistakes when writing a cover letter. So I hope that with this knowledge that you gained in this webinar, that you can get your first client even without experience. Okay, that you can get your first client. Now, if you found this helpful, I want you to join our Facebook group. If you're not already a member, it's Freelancers in the Philippines. You can get support, you can ask questions, and you can meet other aspiring freelancers as well. Now, in our weekly sessions, we only discuss kind of the highlights. There's not a lot of time to discuss everything in detail with step-by-step guided instructions. And if you want that, we have that in our virtual assistant bootcamp. Here we're kind of squeezing everything in. We're giving you the bird's eye view of everything. But if you want the detailed step-by-step guided spoon feeding, check out our VA Bootcamp, the Virtual Assistant Bootcamp. And if you got a lot of value out of this free training, all the more in our paid course, in VA Bootcamp, all the more that you'll get a lot of value there. In the VA Bootcamp, you learn the skills you need to learn. There's a community to support you in your journey every step of the way. You have guides there, your questions can get answered, and a lot more. Check out vabootcamp.ph if you want to see the detailed step-by-step course called the Virtual Assistant Bootcamp. You'll also learn things like data entry, transcription, email management, internet research, office applications, social media management, schedule management, updating websites, e-commerce management. You'll also learn bookkeeping, and in our complete package, you'll learn more advanced skills, like the one we use to teach people how to earn 100K a month. You learn about SEO, about WordPress, email marketing, about content writing, about Facebook marketing as well. So those are included in our complete package. And we have just sharing some testimonials here from our students. So Brian Zenarosa, he shared na sobrang naitulong ng VA Bootcamp sa akin. It's more than just about learning the technical aspects of being a VA. It's also about practical applications in the real freelance world. So from having a $5 per hour rate, that's how we started as a freelancer, to experiencing having clients at $17 per hour, the VA Bootcamp is my best investment. And $17 per hour, that's around $850 pesos per hour. So he was earning 850 pesos in 1 hour of work. So in one day, if you work 8 hours a day, that's like almost like 7,000 pesos in one day. Okay, so he's earning a lot of money. The VA Bootcamp was where he started. AJ Madrid also shared the VA Bootcamp is worth buying for newbies. This course will help you save much time because of all of the steps that you need to know about freelancing is being discussed here. Also, this course was my stepping stone to achieving 100,000 pesos per month earning. So AJ Madrid shared that as well. Okay, so yes, we talked about, once again, these topics over here. I hope that you got something. Did you learn something in this session? Like, what did you learn in this session? Where can I watch this video and other videos ahead weekly? Somebody can reply to that. We have Mahar, thank you. Maybe you can reply, just give the videos link. We also have a YouTube channel. A client from Upwork emailed me when he found out he will be my first client. I was declined. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but try again. Try again. Thanks for this, Weber. Buti naka-attend ulit ako. Good to hear. After the training, are you going to find us home-based jobs? We teach you how to find your own jobs. Because you teach a person how to fish, or give them fish, or teach them how to fish. So we teach you how to fish, basically. Look forward to the next. Thank you for the knowledge. Looking forward and more for your webinar. Thank you for the webinar. Oh, great to hear that you learned a lot. Oh, don't forget to fill in our attendance sheet. Okay, so you can get the certificate. All right. So just head over to vabootcamp.ph/apple. That's vabootcamp.ph/apple, and then you can fill in the attendance sheet so that you will be able to get the freelancing toolkit. If you attend all 3 sessions, okay, you have to attend all 3 sessions. You'll get the freelancing toolkit and certificate of completion as you see here. So you have to attend all 3 sessions and fill in the attendance sheet. So go ahead and do that. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for spending this time with us. Is call 10 legit? I'm not sure. I haven't heard of that. But you can post in the Facebook group to ask other people. marami na naman ako natutunan. Good to hear, Jenlyn. Uh, Romina, thank you for the free webinar. You're welcome. Okay, okay. There are clients din na mas gusto yung newbies kasi usually ititrain na nila. Yep, that is right. They're more trainable than those that have experience sometimes, sometimes. Okay, thank you guys once again. Don't forget to fill in the attendance vabootcamp.ph/Apple. And we'll see you next week with our next topic. All right. These are ito pala yung next week na topic. How you can handle client interviews, preparing power words, and receiving payment scams, and then what's next for you. Thank you so much for attending, and you have a great rest of the week. Bye bye.